The stock market was all over the place today as we saw a lot of big movement to the upside and the downside. In this video, we're going to talk about the best stocks for the next couple days and some really important things that you definitely want to pay attention to for the rest of this week because it is about to get volatile. Looking at the heat map, it was all over the place today. Tom, what are your thoughts on this current market?
Yeah, it's insane, Mike. Like you said, the heat map is all over the place. There was a couple of good sectors today, like the retail sector. We saw some good movement out of that, as well as the healthcare sector. But overall, the market was pretty negative. In the middle of the day, the SPY started moving back up, and it seemed like an amazing recovery. And then we started selling right back off. But the main reason we were actually down this morning, Mike, was because the IMF cut global forecast for next year and warns that the worst is yet to come. And then they also said that 2023 will feel like a recession for a lot of people. So that is not a good statement from the International Monetary Fund. And this is pretty crazy, Mike. They're saying the GDP estimate for this year remains steady at 3.2%. And in 2021, they were seeing this at 6%. That's almost a 50% cut on that GDP there. So pretty bad there, Mike. Like we're saying, they're seeing a slowing of growth heading into 2023 as well, which is definitely not good considering that the SPY is already so low right now and honestly tried to break below support again today.
Very true. You know, it was we're basically literally at the low of the entire year right now, and it's brutal, you know, and the volatility will only increase. Tom, what are some of the best ways to play the market when it's falling? Like what stocks normally go up?
Yeah, so honestly, I'm really keeping my eyes on like some of these stocks right now, like SPXS. This is obviously a 3x bear ETF that follows the S&P 500. So this will inverse the SPY a little bit. And you can see today, towards the end of the day, when the SPY sold off, SPXS moved up from around 28.30 up to highs really quick of like 29.50. So you can definitely get some nice intraday moves out of SPXS. And it's one of my favorite stocks for the next few days, especially as SPY starts to break below some of these key levels here. I will also say today, some retailers also did well as people, I think, started driving their money into some of the safer stocks in the market. But Mike, that SPY was extremely scary, especially early on and towards the end of the day. Like you said, we started making those yearly lows and pushed down to 356. So I hope this isn't forecasting a bigger drop to come, especially with this big inflation data coming up.
Yeah, so you mentioned the retail stocks. So it's actually Walmart is actually one of my top stocks I'm watching for tomorrow. It was one of the few stocks that actually popped up in a big way today, popping up around 2.6%. You know, like I said, it was like one of the few stocks that were green that actually had good momentum. So I'm really watching Walmart going into tomorrow. You know, Walmart is one of those companies that people tend to flock to during times of uncertainty because, you know, no matter what the economic conditions, people are not stopping going to Walmart. You know, people are always going to go to Walmart and they generally do better, especially when people are trying to cut costs as well.
Yeah, and even look at Walmart in 2008, 2009 during that bad recession. Walmart, of course, was down a little bit. They fell from 64 here on this chart down to 47 or 48 down here. But that wasn't really the worst drop ever when you look at other stocks that fell in 2008. And you can kind of see right now, Walmart is, of course, off their highs a little bit. But still, honestly, Mike, it's not too bad. And it's definitely down in that level, I think, where a lot of bigger investors and stuff would like to buy it, especially considering that we're getting into that safer or into that more volatile type market where people want to park that money somewhere safe. So that does make a lot of sense, Mike. And even on a technical level, look at this amazing support bounce here around 128 and 128.50. Looks pretty solid. And KR, honestly, Mike, is looking pretty good too. That's going to be my second favorite stock to watch right now. This one actually moved up a lot today with Walmart and the rest of the retailers. Costco even had a pretty good day if you guys want to check them out too. But KR, I really like how they ran up to this big resistance here right around $46. That's a huge level on them. And then they have a pretty big support down there they've been bouncing at around 42.80. So I really like this setup. If they could break that high of day at 46, Mike, I'll be looking for a nice push at least up to 47, where I see some solid resistance. There is some resistance at 46.52, so watch out. But I really like that for a play tomorrow, especially with all these retailers going up, just like Walmart.
Here we go. And Tom, I'm not sure if you saw CCL, but this is another stock that actually has unusual bullish momentum, which is awesome in a time where everything else is selling off. So CCL, Carnival Cruise Line, is actually at the lowest level since the early 1990s. To say this stock is oversold is an understatement. This stock has been brutal over the past couple years, but while this sucks, it's also an opportunity. It's very oversold, which honestly tempts me quite a bit to, either sell some puts or dollar cost average into the stock itself, but also for some short-term movement. Tom, pick any point in history on CCL where there was a major drop down. You can basically always see a volatile, good opportunity towards the bottom of that sell-off. The main hard problem is that no one knows the bottom, but what we do know is that there's a really good chance that we're going to see some big moves soon. So CCL, it's definitely on my radar. It's been a wild year for it, but I think volatility will definitely increase for this one, and it's very, very oversold, and it's at lowest levels in over 30 years.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, that's a pretty big support. It's pretty close to around $6 or $6.50. Like you said, that's a big support going all the way back to the 90s. So that is insane, Mike. CCL is, like you said, falling down to insane levels right now. I cannot believe what it's at. And that intraday chart looks pretty good. I like the way it's bouncing off 650 and starting to come back up here. Definitely has a bullish setup there heading into close too. I'll take that, especially with the way SPY ended up closing. Man, that sell-off on SPY was brutal at the end of the day, so CCL held up quite well.
Here we go. So, Tom, we talk about Meta stock all the time. Meta is normally known as Facebook. They fell around 4% today, which sucks, obviously, but some big news happened with this one today. So what's going on?
Yeah, unfortunately, we've been talking about this Connect event for Meta over the past few days. And unfortunately, they did end up falling down today. I will say the event necessarily didn't send them down. They fell off very early on with a lot of stocks as the SPY fell. And then they also fell down with the SPY towards the end of the day. But they did have their Connect event today, which was very interesting. They unveiled their new Quest Pro headset, which is going to be awesome. This will hit the shelves October 25th at a price of $1,500. And the cool thing with this is that this is going to allow you to interact with things within the world around you. A lot of people like to call this augmented reality or what have you, but in either way, for example, I'll show you a nice video here. You can put this headset on and you can actually kind of draw things out. And I'll just kind of let it play here for a second because there's some cool things that go on.
Yeah, you can see the people around you, and with scene understanding and anchoring, objects in your room can become part of the virtual
You can
experience.
see how that skateboard there, you're kind of using that as a template, and he's able to swipe and kind of see how some things might react with it. And the cool thing about this is, imagine this, he might be able to ride this skateboard at some point down the road, and maybe some people will see this, other people with the headset might see some of these textures and stuff coming off. So it can make your real life experience pretty interesting, and it definitely sounds cool, Mike. They talked about a lot of technology, like upgrading the cameras, and you can see here there's cameras all around the headset, so you can kind of obviously wear this while you're walking around to the park and maybe have some fun opportunities there.
Yeah, it's interesting, I feel it's just something that not a lot of people are used to. I know before cell phones really became a thing, they were just different, same thing with the internet. And I feel everything with virtual reality, augmented reality, and the metaverse is just different right now. You know what I mean? It's in a stage where there's a lot of development, a lot of money flowing into it, and we're going to see a lot of advancements in technology in this industry over the next coming years and the next decade. It's going to get exciting, and I'm excited for the technology and just to see how it progresses. I'm a huge fan of Meta in terms of the stock valuation. I think it's trading at a great level. This stock was at $380 just around a year ago. Now it's at $128. They're a cash printing machine. and their stock's doing nothing but falling, and they're going into a lot of growing industries, and they're not going out of business anytime soon.
Yeah, and they're getting close to a pretty major support down there. I see again, down really close to like 120 or like 122, 123. Definitely a big level from back in like December of 2018. So definitely some big supports coming up. Hopefully we can maybe see a nice bounce and then maybe some nice consolidation down here so we can start to grab some more shares. I know, Mike, I'm a shareholder of Meta, and I think this technology sounds very awesome. So hopefully it keeps helping their stock go up over the longer term. Obviously, it didn't really help today, obviously, in the short term. Not too much hype yet, but I think that once these headsets start hitting the shelves and companies start developing more projects for it, I think it'll be awesome.
Yep. All right, Tom. So this week is just going to get more and more volatile as it goes on. What's on the schedule?
Definitely, Mike. Tomorrow, we're going to have a huge day with the FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Be ready tomorrow afternoon. That's going to be a pretty big event going on with the minutes. It's just going to go over what they talked about at the last FOMC meeting. So be ready for that 2 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. But the big news is going to be Thursday. Obviously, Thursday morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, we're going to have the CPI data coming out, which is obviously going to be the biggest event of the week. We've been talking about it in every single video. I've been seeing articles about it on CNBC and all these different websites that track the market. So be ready for this. Hopefully the inflation rate, Mike, can come in somewhere around expected. If we come in somewhere around 8.1 or 8.2%, that would be pretty good, showing that inflation's falling. But if we stay around 8.3% or even go higher, that's going to be very scary on that year over year number.
Yep. Ideally, we want inflation to be lower than the expectation of 8.1%, but we'll see what happens. The market is definitely crazy at times. And then as we get to Friday, we will have some retail sales data, and we will have the consumer sentiment report there. And then we will also have the FOMC minutes event tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time and PPI inflation data. But I would say the FOMC minutes is the most important thing for tomorrow. And then on Friday, we have some earnings from the big banks. Tom, this is going to be pretty big. I think there's going to be a big opportunity with these bank stocks on Friday, regardless of which way they move, I should say. If they tank down, it's probably going to be a volatile sell-off, which is great for puts. And if they start to pop up, a lot of these stocks pay dividends too. So it's just lots of good opportunities coming.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of those banks are very low. So let's see, like JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Citigroup, Wells Fargo. Let's go check some out here maybe on the daily chart. We can see JP Morgan's definitely getting down to that low of this year. Look at that big drop today with JP Morgan, Mike, especially towards the end of the day. What a bad move, but they're almost back down to around $100. So big drops out of these bank stocks. Hopefully they can maybe recover up with some of these earnings. You would maybe think some of these rates going up would help them, but I guess if people quit lending as much and stuff like that, that can also hurt. So I guess we kind of got to see how the market's going to take this.
Yep. All right. Well, with that being said, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have Amazon to the downside.
AMZN, what a huge stock and what a bad drop here today. Go ahead and make them break below that low right around the end of day at 111.50.
And with the next one, we have Netflix, also to the downside.
NFLX, double bottom there today. Make them break below it right around 213.75.
With the last one, we have AMGN, which actually had some good coverage from Morgan Stanley, and the stock's popping.
Yeah, I saw this early on this morning. This was insane today. But if they pop up tomorrow, make them break above that high of day right around $250 even. That is a huge psychological level.
All right, so we're watching AMGN for a potential day trade to the upside tomorrow, only if it breaks above the level Tom listed. And then we are watching Netflix and Amazon for potential day trades to the downside tomorrow, only if they break below the levels Tom listed. If you are looking to get some awesome options trades sent to your inbox basically every single day, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. Our options bot is awesome. Today it called out the Rivian 32 strike calls at $164, and it popped all the way up to $220 each. So that's over 30% same day. Of course, not every single play wins. No software, no strategy wins every single time, but the bot is pretty dang good. And in the worst case scenario, you can cancel at any time. If you want to try it out, you'll get access to the bot's daily options alerts, daily swing plays, daily plays from Tom and myself, and it's an awesome community to be a part of if you're interested in short-term trading. Like I said, worst case scenario, you can cancel at any time, no questions asked. Definitely check it out. It's going to be that first link in the description and the comments down below. But Tom, do you have any favorite setups heading into tomorrow?
Yeah, I will say, Mike, a lot of stocks are down. Like I said at the beginning of the video, one of my favorite stocks for tomorrow is SPXS. I think this could end up being very good if we continue to see the SPY fall off. I will say, though, the SPY started double bottoming there end of day. So I'm really going to be watching that lower level here right around 355.80 for a move down tomorrow. If I start to see a major drop below that, then I will start to be more bullish on SPXS. But I will definitely be waiting for that break, though, Mike, because we are very oversold. And if this double bottom holds up, we might finally get a nice pop out of the market. So just watch that level. I think that'll be crucial for SPY.
You know it. And then before we move on, I want to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, Tiffany T, in the YouTube comments. Thank you so much for all the nice comments and for supporting us on YouTube. Tom and I really appreciate you. Also, guys, remember, if you want these daily options alerts, definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. The alerts are awesome. You can cancel at any time, and you can chat with Tom and myself all day long. Last but not least, definitely check out this video on the screen above. I go a lot more in depth into why this market will be absolutely crazy this week. You're not going to want to miss it. Thanks for watching.